So you want to see a professional home studio, huh? Well, we can definitely do that. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to show you my home studio. A lot of people are asking how I am using my studio, how I am doing YouTube videos, and what I actually need as a guitar player to record myself. And instead of just showing you what I have and how I use it, I'm also gonna tell you what you could use if you're a guitar player and you want to record yourself, or if you're a vocalist and you want to record yourself at home. Because I have pretty much an entire recording system set up here, and I can do vocals, acoustic guitars, electric guitars on the spot. So let's get right into this. We're gonna start with what you're seeing here, which is a mic. Usually I have another mic in my room, one that you don't see, and it's this shotgun mic. Up here, it's a Sennheiser MKH416, and this mic is pretty much the standard in documentary filming. It has the best sounds to pretty much pick up every voice in the room. So this mic you usually don't see in the frame, and that's what I usually use, but today I want to move around, you know? So I'm using this SM7, which is, you know, another classic microphone, something everybody uses, and something that I use for situations like these where I'm sitting in front of my own desk and telling you about my gear. Awesome. And the thing is, this microphone is so good for vocals. It can be good on acoustic guitars sometimes. It's good for drums, but that's not really something you would record in your home studio, unless you're lucky and you have a house. But everything starts here. You're hearing my voice through this microphone, and then through this microphone, we're going into this BAE 1073 MP mic preamp. Now, what can I say about this unit? This unit pretty much is one of the best preamps you could buy for money nowadays that isn't a vintage unit. It's a British style mic preamp. It sounds fat. You're hearing my voice through this mic preamp. It's awesome. I use it for vocals, and I also use the same preamp to use the DI for bass. So that's also cool. What do you need a mic preamp for? Well, the output level out of your microphone usually is not loud enough to be of good quality in your computer. So you need to amplify it first, and that's what a preamp is for. Next in the chain, we have a Kemper. As you can see, Kemper profiling amplifier is what I used to play for a long time for all the YouTube videos, for all the Instagram stuff. Why? Because the Kemper back in the day was the thing to have if you didn't want to record or couldn't record an amp at home. Also, the Kemper sounds incredible. I still think it's one of the best sounding units out there. It's not worse than any other modeler, and I used it for hundreds and hundreds of videos. Good chance that some of your favorite tones that I ever got on a guitar came out of this specific unit. I don't use it often anymore because I have the Fractal FM9, another floor modeler right in front of me. You know the Fractal FM9. I don't have to, you know, pull it up, right? Google Fractal FM9. It's another modeler just like the Kemper. And that's pretty much our two mostly used channels here. A vocal channel, so you can actually hear me when I'm doing a video, and I have a modeler in front of me, usually when it comes to recording guitars. Now, from the modeler, we're not going straight into the computer. You can definitely do that, and a lot of players and a lot of people ask me, why do you not go from your modeler straight into your computer? And that is because I am not only recording electric guitars. I also record vocals sometimes. I also record acoustic guitars sometimes. And because of that, I need everything to go through an interface. And the interface in that situation is the Universal Audio Apollo X4. What it has is 4 different inputs, so I can put in my electric guitar, my vocal signal, and whatever else I need, a bass signal or something else. And it also has enough outputs, which is important because when I'm doing these looping videos that you love so much, where I'm building riffs in real time, I need another computer to record what's happening in my DAW. So outputs out of this interface into another computer to record it there. Very important. I know it's a little bit heady, guys, but that's what my setup is. Next up are my Adam Audio A7V active near-field monitors. Adam Audio Such a cool company out of Berlin. I'm living in Berlin, so you know, support the local brands. Adam Audio is one of the coolest and best manufacturers for near-field monitors. And these monitors are awesome. Why? Because they're high quality, they're full range. I hear my guitar signal always through these monitors. That's what I'm hearing when I'm playing guitar in this room. And they have room correction built in on the backside. So you can pretty much, cut highs or lows depending on how your room sounds, which in this room is incredibly important because it's obviously not a perfectly treated room. So if you're on the lookout for speakers, check the Adam Audio A7V. I can highly recommend them. I would buy them again and again and again because they're that great. And if you're interested in these speakers, check out the description box below where I'm listing all my equipment with affiliate links. So if you want anything that is on this desk, you can buy that for a normal price, but I'm getting a small commission. Really helps out the channel. Now maybe let's move over here, because what you can see here is another rack unit, and this rack unit has 500 series modules in them. What are 500 series modules? These are pretty much pro audio components like preamps, compressors, EQs, but in a very small format here. They're only this big, so these are 4 different modules here, and they do the exact same thing as my BAE mic preamp. They process audio in some way or another. And what we have over here are a stereo pair of Cappy VP28 preamps. You think, well, that looks familiar. It is because those are API clones, vintage API preamp clones, and they sound so good. What actually happens is I use these on guitars a lot. So whenever I'm recording guitars, especially acoustic guitars, I love to use API style preamps. Why? Because they sound fat, they sound mid-forward, and they always bring your guitar up in the mix. So API preamps, if you want to record professionally sounding acoustic guitars, right here, guys, Cappy VP28s, because they're the best. Right next to it, you see another stereo pair. These are Audioscape V3As. Now, this is important. Audioscape is the best recreator, manufacturer of vintage equipment, classic vintage equipment. So these V3As are essentially Universal Audio LA3As. And these compressors were super famous in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Everybody used them on everything because they level the signal, they compress the signal. I use these, again, for acoustic guitars. I use these for electric guitars, especially when I record clean electric guitars. I like to use the V3As because they compress the sound a little bit and they always bring forward the mids. So V3As, if you're looking for an outboard compressor that does really well on vocals, bass, and guitar, the V3As by Audioscape. I can only give a shout out to Audioscape because the guys over there in Florida doing amazing work. Hey there, on it goes. Different corner of the room right now, one you usually don't see, but this is pretty much the amp corner of the room. And this is pretty much opposite side from my desk. And what you can see next here are 2 amps of mine. This right here is an original 1987 Marshall Silver Jubilee with Drake transformers. Not all Silver Jubilees came with Drake transformers. This one did, which is why I think it sounds especially good. But that's typically regarded as cork sniffing, which I totally understand. So let's, move on. This amp is amazing for everything rock and roll, rock, heavy metal, whatever you need. This is the best preamp Marshall has ever built. Ever built. And yes, this is the amp I blew up last year in summer when I didn't put in the speaker cable, but it's fine, guys. It's fine again, okay? So this old amp, very good amp. Love it. Up here is my newest possession. This is the THC Sunset. You've never heard of this amp? Doesn't surprise me because these are pretty rare. They were made in the past, they're not being made anymore, and I think there's only a couple hundred of them in existence. Basically, without spoiling this too much, because I'm gonna do an entire video about this amp and why I think it's one of the best amps to ever come out in Germany. This is pretty much a boutique amp, not cheap, non-master volume, 6v6 tubes, smooth sounding, huge sounding, and loud as hell. So THC Sunset over there. If you're interested in this kind of amp, wait until I drop that video, because I'm gonna make it a super nice video, appreciation video about this amp. Next up, these amps, if I'm playing these, they go right into the load box over there. This is a Red 7 Amp Central, but you could use any other load box as well. I'm not particular about what load box I'm using. This is just the one that I have. And what it does is it makes it possible for me to play an amp without plugging in a speaker cabinet, because obviously in a flat like this would definitely, let's just say, damage the relationship with my neighbors. So I need a load box, and then out of the load box, I go with a normal cable and go right into my interface where I'm plugging in or using an IR, and that's what you're hearing when I'm playing a real amp. And now we're almost all the way back to the normal camera position here. That's pretty much my entire setup. I'm not showing my electric guitars. You know my electric guitars. Maybe one more thought about this entire home studio thing. If you want to get into this, if you want to get into recording yourself, most of the stuff you're seeing here is not necessary to get started. I mean, this is something, this entire home studio is something I collected over years of doing this. So if you're just a guitar player and you want to record yourself, you don't even need an interface. You need a digital modeler, a computer that takes that modeler, and a free digital audio workstation, something like GarageBand or Audacity or something. So if you want to record yourself, you actually don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't need preamps, anything like that. It gets more and more complex the more and more channels you need, say for vocals or something else. But to get started with recording yourself, you only need your guitar, a modeler, and a computer. That's pretty much it. And the cool thing about home studio stuff is you can always upgrade later. You don't need to have the latest, greatest stuff right now. You can start with just a modeler and record yourself until you find out that you also want to, you know, I don't know, sing or do YouTube videos and record your voice and all these different things. Then you just start adding to it. So all these things are pretty much compatible with each other. So start slow, start with maybe just one channel and go from there. And that has been my home studio, I guess. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.